go, viewing where you are, generating the action plan to get you to your end goal. She is with Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, not-for-profit, fighting for economic justice with America's best mortgage. Won't you please welcome Ms. Tangerine Young?
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited being here with everyone to sit and discuss what we have and what we've been doing in the communities, which is using the mortgage to be a supportive tool to the community to build wealth through homeownership. So I'm very excited in being here, sharing our resources and providing a platform to build each one's journey to their end goal. So I'm very, very excited being a part of that. So my name is Tangerine Young. I am a licensed loan officer here with Naca, and I've been in the business, real estate business, as a finance for over 30 years. My starting was working with banks, and then I started doing brokerage where back 20 years ago before the market crash. So we were doing a lot of sub-lending. But during that time, I joined a broker that was located on the west side. Her name was Loan Depot. And in that space is when I really took off and refining my purpose with home ownership. And my purpose with home ownership is to train with the mindset of learning the discipline of being a homeowner and the practices, daily practices of what it takes to become a successful homeowner. When I say successful homeowner, what I mean is where you're buying a property that you can afford and that you will be able to maintain throughout your home ownership purchase. So that's what we do here at Naca. So when I was in that space and started developing these tools to teach people, I left Loan Depot to start my own business. And what that business was getting into real estate investing and teaching others how to do the same. However, when the market crashed, that forced me to come back to the workforce. And one day when I bought a property like I do to rehab and put out into the market, I was always consulting people around me of how to do the same thing. And my neighbor, who was a part of the circle, hi, welcome, Ms. Brown. I'm glad you're joining us. But when I was speaking with my neighbor about my process and I was sitting down with her and showing her how she can do the same thing, she explained about how she found out about a company called Naca and how they, with all the benefits that we provide, would be a good fit. So I was so excited because I had just gotten a property under contract. So I was looking for finance. I was so excited. I said, well, I'm about to go get me a loan too. So I went to the home buyers workshop and closed my eyes, and I could, their angle of how they explained the process was like listening to me on how I explained on how to go about doing your home ownership process. So I was so elated about hearing someone teach the discipline of home ownership that I wanted to join the team. And so that's how I ended here in Naca today. So, and what my movement of, I'm trying to create this home ownership movement of being able to, I see others are coming into the room. And I'm glad. Hi, Ms. Hamilton. Hi, Ms. Brittany. I'm glad you all are joining. So my name is Tangerine Young. I am in home ownership.
Hi.
Hi. And today what we're doing is
Hello.
Hi, they've invited me to speak with you all about what we're doing over here at this company that I work for. It's a not-for-profit. The name of the company is called Naca. And today what we're going to be doing is just speaking about how to get set home ownership ready with the program that we have provided, which is Naca. Has everyone, no one has their camera on, so I can't see you raise your hand, but um, great, and I have someone else joining. But I was going to ask, has anyone ever heard of NACA?
Yes, I have.
Wonderful,
Yes,
wonderful, great, great.
I got my house through NACA.
Hey, okay, so now Miss Bay.
Yes.
Okay, so now this is good because you're gonna be my right wing, okay? So you're gonna chime in, okay?
Okay.
Okay, but you be careful. I see you driving.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, yes. But congratulations to you. I'm so happy for you. You know, NACA's a very particular place when you decide to come here and join to and have NACA be your lender for home ownership. You know, I've been in this business for over 30 years, and there's nothing like NACA. You can be in a business for a long time and come over here in NACA's world and it's like brand new. NACA, just to give you a background on NACA, which is Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. So NACA is a not-for-profit that put together a contract with Bank of America to provide lending to low to moderate income. Now, anyone can get it. You can have high income, but the focus is low to moderate because they notice that that is the sector that ends up being passed when it comes to home ownership, because as you know, you need the money, excuse me, I'm sorry. You need the upfront money. You need a certain, looking at the regular market, you need a certain credit score. So it's a lot of things that becomes a blockage to a market that normally wouldn't have access to the resources. And so what NACA has done is they have those obstacles, they have made it so that there are no obstacles. For example, the benefits that we have is that we pay you 100% of your closing cost, 100% of your down payment. There's no PMI. We don't look at your credit score. We are a character-based lending company. So what that means is we look at to see if you've been paying your bills on time. And so they look at your payment history versus looking at your credit score. Because as you well know, you can pay your bills on time and still can't get that credit score they're looking for to get that loan, the rate that you need. So we've removed that obstacle. We pay for your appraisal. You go get you an attorney. We pay for your attorney. So we provide the things that normally will stop someone and to say, hey, we're going to remove all those things. And we provide a rate that is normally less than the market rate. So that is our focus, is providing these loans to communities to fight against economic injustice. NACA's core, and this is just one product, homeownership mortgage lending, right? But their core is fighting economic justice. They have a campaign where they're going to start looking at the student loans. They go after predatory lending companies. So student loan is on our list. Automobile companies are on our list. So we're going down, but it's all about building the community through healthy relationships so that we can strengthen and build economic justice so that we have a platform to stand on and start building wealth through and using the tools that are provided to build that wealth. And home ownership is one of the tools. So today, what we're going to do is, I'm going to share my screen, but what we're going to do is just go through the things, the core things to what you would need to go through this process. So before I start though, is everyone that's on this call, is everyone interested in trying to become a homeowner? Is that someone's end goal? Is that everyone's end goal?
Yes.
So there's no one in this call that besides the young lady, because, oh, where did she go? Besides the young lady who has closed with NACA already with her home, that is going to be we're going to do a 2-part series. This is the first part. The foundation of things is to get you your home so that you have your own home and you can start by there. But the ultimate goal is once you get comfortable in the routine and the discipline of owning your home, hopefully you would take that practice and scale it or use it as a springboard to, hi, Mr. Sense, I'm glad you joined us. Use it as a springboard to get into real estate, to use it as a tool to build wealth. So what I wanted to do, we don't have to do it now, but what I would like to do towards the end of this call, if we have enough time left, is to really hear, just briefly, what each one's end goal is when it comes to your home ownership. So meaning, are you looking to buy a property to move in, live, and enjoy your life? Or do you have a plan where once you close on your home, that eventually you would like to get into learning how to build wealth through home ownership by becoming an investor? So we'll get into those different discussions if we have some time left. If not, then we'll carry it on to a part 2 series. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is share my screen so I can bring it up. Does anyone have any questions while I do this? So far? No?
At the moment.
Okay. I'm trying to get rid of this top bar, but that's going to be the best I can do for now. Okay, so besides the young lady that we spoke to earlier about she closing on her home with NACA, so my understanding of everyone else is in the focus of buying their home to live in as their primary residence, correct?
Well, not if you hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Is that Mr. Who is that? Mr. Cent?
M Sense, yes, that's me.
Yes, M Sense. Yes. Do you have a
Well,
question?
I was about to just listen, but I'm here. I'm considering multifamily. I want to rent out. I
Awesome.
want tenants.
Awesome. All of that. So, so just to give you a quick background, like I say, NACA's core, when they started their company not as a lender. They started their company as helping, when the market crashed, a lot of people were faced with foreclosure. And so NACA stepped in and went after predatory lending banks to demand that they help their clients to redo the loan so that it becomes affordable for their customers. And so that's what NACA started with, was their what they call the MAP program, MAP department, where we go out and help families fight against foreclosure and help them restructure their contract, their loan, so that it becomes affordable. So when that happened, that's when NACA decided to, because Bank of America is one of the banks that were predatory lenders. They were one of the banks that had to atone for their part in that series when the market crashed. And one of the ways that they're doing it is that they partnership with NACA to provide the lending to families that want to become homeowners. And so the structure is this. There's 5 buckets that NACA looks at. And the 5 buckets, we're in all 50 states. The 5 buckets that they look at, we've been in business for 32 years. But the 5 buckets that they look at is affordability, eligibility, readiness, funds, and compliance. So these are the key things that NACA provides for their mortgages. There's no down payment, no closing costs, no points and fees. So no points and fees means that you don't have a loan officer charging you a fee to do your loan. So our APR is very low. We don't even have it. There's no fees involved. We always provide a below market rate, no MI, so no mortgage insurance. You have the option of buying your rate down. We don't look at your credit score. We look at your payment history, but we don't look at your credit score. And like I say, you buy your, get your attorney, we pay for your attorney, and we pay for your appraisal. Now, one of the things that NACA makes sure is that you can afford the loan. And one of the things they have to make sure is because the only product they have, which is a 100% financial conventional mortgage, 100% conventional finance mortgage is the only product that NACA provides. And the only product that we provide is so that you can live in the property that you plan to buy. We only provide a 30-year and a 15-year loan. But you have to live in the property. Uh-oh, I crossed it out, didn't I?
Ms. Tangerine,
Yes.
thank you so much for all this great information. We do have a hand up, by the way.
Oh, great.
Someone has a question for you.
Okay.
So, Miss Whitney, please ask your question. Unmute yourself.
Hey, how y'all doing? Happy Wednesday, happy Wealthy Wednesday. So I did the NACA workshop, but it's kind of like what you were saying, because I want a multi-family unit, and I know they said you have to stay on the property the whole duration of the loan. Is that correct?
Correct.
Mhm.
Because, and let me explain just what I had just said about the eligibility part to it. NACA's #1 goal is to build the community. So their only product that they have is for those that are going to live in the house or live in the property as their primary residence. So as long as you have the NACA mortgage, you have to use the property for that purpose. So the minute you move out of that property, then you either have to sell the property or refinance the property. What NACA does not want you to do is move out, keep the NACA mortgage, and rent the property out. Because you turn the primary residence of that property from a primary residence to now, when you're not living there and renting the property out, is no longer your primary residence. It is now an investment property. And see, NACA, so that you all are clear, Bank of America and NACA, they have a $20 billion. Bank of America has committed $20 billion to NACA to provide lending. So the purpose of that is for the families that plan to live in the properties, not for families that are not going to live there. So unfortunately, yes. If you're not going to live in a property, then NACA is not for you. Because they do put some things in place, you know, to detect investors coming into the program. They put some things in place to make sure that investors don't come to the program and take advantage of the monies that's available to homeowners and not to investors. Did that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. I was just making sure because, like I said, I went through the whole workshop.
Were you assigned to a counselor?
I had all that. But
Okay,
once I
good.
found out, because like I said, I wanted a multi-family unit. I do want to stay there, but I don't want to stay there 15 years. I wanted to stay there
Yes.
for about 5 years and then move on. But yeah, I think my brothers are still in the program.
Awesome. Well, you know, NACA's focus was to make what they're doing standard in the industry. No closing costs, no down payment, you know, paying for all the things that normally will stop you. So, and as you can see lately, you notice different banks are coming out with different programs that sound a lot like NACA. And so
Can we live anywhere?
it's with NACA, there's two things. You can live anywhere if you're a priority member. So there's two parts to that. Priority member and non-priority member. Non-priority member are for families that make over the MSA. So the MSA of Illinois, I think, is 87,000. So here we are, priority members. So priority members make that much or below. And priority members can live anywhere. But the non-priority members are members that income increases over the MSA. And if that's the case, then you have to live for NACA, you have to live in an area where the medium income supports the medium income, where the income in the neighborhood supports the medium income.
Okay. I got another question about the primary residence. So what is considered a secondary? Is it like a certain time frame? Because if I'm renting it out, most of you I may travel.
Yeah, so again, NACA is a primary residence, primary property finance only. So we don't entertain anything where you will be moving out of the property and keeping the NACA mortgage. The minute you move out of that property and no longer is a primary residence, you have to either refinance that property or sell the property. So you still can use even for the young lady who said she you know, she doesn't want to go through NACA because you have to live in a property, but she plans to live in a property shortly. You can start off and live in a property, and the minute you choose to move out of that property, you just have to refinance or sell the property so that NACA is no longer on the mortgage, on the property as the mortgage.
I understand.
Okay. So we're discussing the eligibility bucket. And so those are the things that come along with being qualified to do a NACA mortgage. So with NACA mortgage, we have two products, the 30-year and the 15-year. Our rates are always lower than the market rate. And you do have the option of buying down your rate, but we'll talk about that. So that 15-year mortgage term, we call that the 15-year wealth builder, because you'll be able to pay your property off in 15 years and the rate that you receive for that product is very low. And if you wanted to buy down the rate, they put it in place so that it would be done in a fast way. It takes your rate all the way down close to the floor.
Mm.
So NACA the type of properties you can buy through NACA are single families, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, mixed use. You can buy properties that need work. We don't have a minimum loan amount. You can use NACA to buy the property and rehab it at 100%. And if the rehab is so much that you cannot live in the property, we will not have a no mortgage payment for 6 months until the renovation is completed. So these are the type of properties that we do. We do single families, multi-unit condos, co-op, and mixed use. So I'm not going to go too much detail about everything. We're just going to do an overview of everything. And then if you have questions, we can come back to it, okay? So like I say, this program is not for investors. It's for owner occupancy. And one of the things, a part of the eligibility requirements is that NACA is a not-for-profit. And so one of the requirements of being a part of NACA is one of the things is that you have to volunteer 5 times a year and 1 time before getting approved. The other thing that NACA wants to be a part of this eligibility is that you are a registered voter, because NACA again they believe that this is a movement. So in movement and requiring change, we need to have numbers. So it's all about the numbers and having the support of the community so that when it comes down time for us to go marching down to Washington, we have voters. And so it is very important to NACA that everyone, unless there's a reason why you don't vote, but that you're registered to vote. Not necessarily that you vote, but that you are registered. And then the last thing
Excuse me,
about
Miss Tangerine.
Sure.
Oh, I'm so sorry to stop you, but we do have another question. Another hand is
Yes.
raised.
Okay.
Yes, Miss.
Wait, but let me say one thing so I won't forget.
Absolutely.
There's a membership fee every January that you pay to be a part of the program. It's like $25, but you pay that every year until you close. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, Miss Kim.
Yeah,
Hey,
she
Kim.
was saying, you were stating, hi, you were stating that you have to participate in activities and you have to participate before you close. What type of activities do you participate in?
So NACA, being a not-for-profit, looks for support of their members, however that looks like, to support NACA's mission. So that can be you going into social media, posting NACA's benefits, to helping 10 people get registered to vote, to we have an activist department, and that department focuses on different campaigns that they're doing. And you can contact that department to provide some assistance, and that can count as a volunteer. If you're doing an event in your community, if you take NACA's flyer and post it at that event and take a screenshot, upload it to your file, that can count as a volunteer. So really any action that you do to support NACA's mission can be counted as a volunteer.
And then normally for participants, how long does it take? Let's say if I found a house, I already know the house that I want to purchase or whatever. How long does it normally take before someone is approved by NACA or?
Okay, so this is the process that's different from the outside world. This is NACA's world. So, normally you would go to someone and say, hey, this is my general information. Based off of my information, they'll give you a pre-approval before they verify your information. And based on that pre-approval, you can start shopping for your home. Well, with NACA, it's opposite. when you come to NACA, so just to give you a brief description, NACA is the not-for-profit counseling part. Everyone that works at NACA is a certified HUD counselor. We are the largest HUD counseling agency in the state. And NACA's position is to counsel members. So we're the counseling part to the home ownership. So when you come to NACA, you take that home ownership workshop where you get your NACA ID. And the purpose of this call today is getting you prepared for that process if you decide to go through NACA. So you go to NACA's home buyer workshop where they basically what we're doing now, we go through I'm doing a general, but so they more detailed, but you go through the home buyers workshop, get your NACA ID. Once you're assigned your NACA ID, then you make an appointment. They schedule you an appointment and assign you to a counselor, which could be me or someone else. And then on that first intake, our purpose when we speak with you is to listen to find out where your end goal is, see where you currently are by going through your last 2 years of your rental, your income, pull your credit, go over the last 2 years of your payment history. And so once we see where you currently are, we compare that to your end goal. And then at the end, we create an action plan of all the steps you need to take to get approved. So to answer your question, so that's the first level. There's 3 levels to this. The first level is qualification, which I just described. Once you get approved, then you go to the purchase workshop. They give you the approval package. Then you can start looking for your property. That once you find a property and you get it under contract, then you go to the second level, which is credit access. And now you have a property. So now you're going to order an inspection because you have to do an inspection. Once you do the inspection and we have the contract, that department normally takes 10 days. So now you're speaking from the stance of you have a contract, right? So once you have a contract, you go into credit access. You should only spend 10 days in credit access. And then once you are cleared from credit access, then you go to the last department, which is the bank department, which you can spend up to 35 days. And then at the end of the 35 days, you are to close. So from the time you get a contract, it's normally 35 days. But now if you get a contract where the property needs repairs, that could be that's a different process. It can take 45 days, 60 days. It depends on the type of loan you're getting. Any questions after that?
No, thank you.
Awesome. So I'm glad you asked that question, right? So just so that everyone's clear, you see the mortgage options in the world that you get a conventional loan mortgage, a non-traditional loan, or a government loan, right? FHA, VA, USDA. NACA loan is a private loan. We have our own policy. There's no one out there, and has never been anyone out there like NACA. So because we have our own policy, we do certain things differently. And that is sometimes the confusion when you're used to knowing the standard of a FHA, and then you come into NACA's world and it's like, no, we don't care about your credit score. We don't care about this. As long as you've been paying your bills on time. We don't look at charge-offs. If you have a collection account, the only thing we look at a collection account, as long as it's not over 2,000, and if it is, then we need to talk about that. But basically collections is, we ignore collections unless we look at the payment history of that collection. So for instance, if you have a collection account, it went into collection, this year. But what we do is look at your payment history. So the last 2 years of your payment history, we're going to see of that collection account when the last time you were late. So we don't look at the status of the account. We look at the payment history of the account. And that's what it's all about. It's your payment history.
Does NACA provide real estate agents, or can you have your own agent?
Yes, so NACA provides a team for you. And even though we provide a team, you are still responsible to do your due diligence. But we provide a team, an umbrella that you can, okay, so for example, we're on the first level. You go through your intakes, you go through your follow-up appointments so that you can do the action plan steps to get you approved. Once you get approved, then you go out and get your property. Once you find your property that's an accepted contract, the first thing you do is you get an inspection. So you remember I was saying all the things that we pay for, the appraisal, the attorney, no closing costs, no down payment, no PMI, all of that. However, NACA wants you to have a lump of money in your account to get approved to cover what we call minimum required funds. And that chunk of money is supposed to be in your account to cover the things that you're going to pay for to get you to closing, like an inspection. When you get a contract on a property, you're going to have to pay for an inspection. Another thing you're going to have to get that money is going to go on is your homeowner's insurance. We're going to escrow that. And so we're going to need, we put in your escrow 3 months of payment. So your earnest money, which you do get back in credit, but your earnest money, your inspection costs, the homeowner's insurance, property taxes as closing, and your interest, those are the things that are generated a total cost based on how much you want to pay for your home to what your minimum required funds are. Mr.
Miss Tangerine?
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for that information. We do have another question for you.
Okay.
All righty, we have Miss Mayat El Bay. If you can unmute yourself, please.
Hi,
Okay.
Ma'at.
Hey.
What a powerful name. We
Thank
named
you.
our niece Ma'at.
Okay.
Okay,
More power to
hi.
that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Hey.
How can I help you?
Okay.
Now, you're the young lady who closed with NACA, are you?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful.
Do you all still look at either like rent or however whatever your payment is for wherever you're staying? Is that how you all still calculate what type of the amount of loan you would be able to pay?
Yes.
If you could speak to that.
Good job, Ms. Bay. So, and I told you she's not everyone. She's gonna be my wing person because she has closed with NACA. Listen, I tell people all the time, NACA is not for everyone. Only true bosses come through NACA. And what I mean is, we will provide everything for you, but you have to understand, go into a room, a 7x7 room that holds about 100 people. But in NACA's world, in that same room that holds 100 people, you got 20,000 people trying to fit in that one room. Every week we do a workshop. 1,000 people come to that workshop every week. We do at least 20,000 people that are ready to be approved every week. And this is just Midwest. So the demand is incredible. And the purpose of your panelists that brought me in today was to get you connected with someone so that you can bypass all of that. Because the normal procedure is going in to get your NACA ID, then you have to wait for them to assign you to a counselor. Then you have to wait to get on their calendar to see that counselor. So sometimes it can take months before you're able to get in and talk to someone. So I'm here to be the liaison of anyone who wants to come through NACA. I will be able to pull you out of that room and sit you on my calendar and we can go to work. And the purpose of this workshop that we're having today, next week, however many times you all need me, is so that I can say, listen, hey everyone, this is what we about to do. This is what the docs you need for this. We can have custom conversation to your file, to your business only. But at the end of the day, my purpose in being here is so that I can bring you all aboard and say, listen, give me this A, B, and C, put you on my calendar, and then you be ready. You don't have to wait in line. So you all are going to have VIP access. So Miss Bay brought up one of the things that is in NACA's world. So Miss Hamilton, you asked the question, how long it takes. Well, this is one of the things where you can come and sit in front of me, have pristine payment history. You paying your bills on time. You saving money. You doing everything you're supposed to do. But at another outside loan company, you could be ready right away. But with NACA, one of the questions they're going to ask for, which is the bucket of readiness, is and a bucket of affordability. So let me rephrase that. The bucket I'm talking about is affordability. And that is, you have to demonstrate to NACA you can afford the mortgage payment you want. And how you do that is if you pay rent. So for example, if you want a mortgage payment of $1,500, but you only pay $1,000 in rent, then that's a difference of $500. That difference, they want you to save that in your account every month as if you're paying a mortgage payment of $1,500 to demonstrate you can afford the mortgage payment you're requesting. So Ms. Bay, to answer that question, yes, we still have that. That's the number one tool with NACA, is that affordability. So let me say it in detail. So for example, if you pay rent and your mortgage payment is that you want for yourself is higher than what your rent payment is, and you have not saved money normally every month, then you have to save that difference amount every month for 90 days to demonstrate to NACA you can afford the mortgage payment you want. And then continue to save it every month until you close. If you're a person that does not pay rent, you're living with family and you don't pay rent, then you need to save the whole entire mortgage payment for 6 months, every month until you close. You have to save it for 6 months and then continue to save it every month until you close to demonstrate you can afford the mortgage payment you want. Any questions about that part?
I have one.
Yes.
Okay, what if I'm starting? What if by the time I apply to NACA, I've been already showing I got proof that I've been saving up money monthly
Then you are all
already?
good. You are all
Okay.
good. Now let me
Go ahead.
let me say
This related to go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm be quiet.
no, sis. I love your input. Let me just say this about that payment shock. So when you hear it, when you walk away and say, well, shoot, I've been doing that. 2 things. One, remember, NACA's focus is to make sure they have a secret to success. And here's the formula they have. They want your take home income check money to be able to support your mortgage, your debt, and budget, and leave you a surplus at the end of the month after you pay all your bills. For a single family or a townhome condo, the surplus is $200. For a building, how you do a building is you take the income from the apartment plus your income. Those 2 added together should be enough to pay the mortgage, your debt, and budget, and leave you a surplus of $400. Any questions about that part? No? Good. So
I do have another question though.
okay.
It's my last one.
No. Don't say that.
Well, okay. My question is, if someone has an eviction, should they clear that up first, or does that not matter to NACA?
Now listen, if anyone on this call decides to come through NACA, I don't want you all doing anything to your credit until you sit down with me first. That's the first thing. The second thing, or we can have a quick conversation off the call, and I can talk in directly to your situation. But as far as the rent and how it's filed on your report, how you pay rent will reflect to NACA how you're going to pay your mortgage. So again, we don't look at credit score, we look at your payment history. So if you have on your credit report, on your payment history, an eviction, that one is a judgment, which you will have to pay. So if a company took you to court and they won and you owe them based on that judgment, I'm just going to say a number, $3,000, because it's a judgment, NACA is going to require you to pay that before you close. It's an Illinois law for judgments. But to answer your question about the eviction, NACA will look at your history, payment history on your rental. And what they would do is whatever date of your last date where you were late. So say, for instance, you were late, your last late payment was, say, August 2021. When NACA is going to make you wait 12 months from that last date. So then that means you will be ready August 2022. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Appreciate it.
Good. So the bucket of affordability, basically at the end of the day, NACA needs to make sure that your lifestyle, it can be supported by your income, not because someone zailed you $500. So that's another thing I'm going to mention real quick, and we can get into details later, right? But in order for NACA to see that you live based on your income, is they look through your bank statements. Your bank statements, FYI, is the window to your habits. How you spend your money every day will tell a person who's studying your bank statements what your habits are. So the first place they look to see your habits is when they go through your bank statements, which is what I want you all to do. I'm going to attach a budget form, and you are going to do that. We're going to have a second part series so that we can go through how to, if you're not doing it already, how to set up your infrastructure of your business on how you conduct your business every day, so that your habits will support you to get to your end goal. So back to NACA and looking at your bank statements. So again, they're going to look through your bank statement to make sure that the income that you receive is the only income you're using to pay for the things you spend every month. So if you're getting a lot of Zales or a lot of other income, other monies coming into your account that is not your income, and you spend that money, they ignore those transactions. But what they don't ignore is what you spent that month. So they're going to take your total money you spent that month and subtract it from your W-2 or your income, your payroll income. And if it takes you over because you received other monies, then they're going to say you didn't do your payment shock, because they're trying to clearly see that your take-home check that supports your lifestyle, and not because someone zailed you $500. Any questions about that part?
Yes, Miss Tangerine, we do have a hand raised. Mr. TK, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, because I want to say this, Mr. TK, and to everyone, if you all don't remember anything, because it's a lot of information, that's why I want to try to keep it as light as possible. But and I'll show you resources you can go in after you get off the call and just do your own research, because and this goes for anyone that is out in the street. Anyone can tell you anything, right? It's up to you to do your due diligence to verify. So that's the same thing NACA does. NACA I sit in my appointment, and you all can tell me your story, all what's going on, and I'm going to believe everything you say. But I also have to verify. And that is why we provide approvals and not pre-approvals, because everything that you give us that's a part of this file, we get it approved. We verify it to get it approved, so that when you start looking, the only thing we need is the property. How am I doing, Miss Bay? But she's muted. Go ahead,
What,
TK.
I didn't hear. You said, "How are you doing?"
Yeah,
As
how I'm
far as
doing. Explaining the things of payment shock. Did you have a payment shock?
I did.
Good job.
I had to save because I think I wanted my mortgage to be between $1,200 and $1,500.
Yes.
So I had to save that up.
Yes. Good
And
job.
yeah, I went through it.
Absolutely.
It was
I'm
worth
telling you,
it.
you a true boss. I say it all the time. Only people who stay, am I saying something that's not correct? Only people who go through NACA are the people in their regular life that, regardless of what people tell them, regardless of what's going on around them, they have a goal and they're going to take care of it by any means necessary, and no one's going to stand in their way from their goal. Am I right, Ms. Bay?
You're right. You're right.
Period.
I had my mind set.
Period.
So, and the benefits, like I have a 1.125 interest rate. People don't even believe me when I tell them that.
With no PMI.
With no
and
PMI.
no APR, because you didn't have to pay
Right.
any fees.
No, nothing. My money went to pay down my interest rate.
Good job, Ms. Bay. Good job.
Thank you.
So, yes.
All right, we still have TK, and
TK.
he has a question.
Go ahead, TK. You got the floor.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, TK.
Hi. My question is, if you have a checking account where you just put your money, so your checking account, I mean, my check comes to the bank account, but then I have a separate checking account where I just put money in. Can that account be used with NACA?
So let me say this. We're looking for these type of accounts. We want the account where you receive your income, you pay your rent and your bills, and your day-to-day budget and your savings account. Anything outside of that, we don't need to see it. Now, if you have an account where you're not sharing that account with NACA, that's fine. But the minute you expose that account, now you have to provide this bank statements. And how do you expose it is, you know how we transfer money back and forth from account to account? Well, if they look on your bank statements of the account that we have and notice that there's a an account that we don't have, and we can visibly see that account, that information, now you've exposed that account. Now you have to, the minute you expose information, you have to now provide that information a part of your file.
So it has to be, you have to provide an account where your check is going.
Your income?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you get direct deposit?
Yes.
Yes. We need to see that. And no bounce check. So if you bounce, because remember, you know, our focus is predatory lending. So our focus is to help you get your finances in order so that you are financially independent. So bounce checks means you're not managing your money right. Either either your money wasn't in the right place when the check came through, or you didn't have the money. You didn't have the money to cover the check, or whatever the reason is. It just means it's just mismanagement, either mismanagement of the information or mismanagement of your habit, right? So NACA, anytime they see that going on, they will make you wait 90 days from that last late or that last bounce check. Another thing is, you know how they have different systems where you can get your money early, like Payday Loans, or there's another one out, and I only mention this because this one Oh, see, I didn't even know about Chime. I haven't seen that too frequently, but I do see one where they don't even charge interest. So you think, oh, okay, well, this is good because I don't pay no high interest. It's not predatory lending. True. However, it's a type of loan where you get it to tie you over to the next paycheck. So then that means that if you're doing that type of money receiving, that tells us that you're not managing your money right. So anything like that, 90 days. They will make you wait 90 days. Any questions about that part?
No, Miss Tangerine, we don't have any questions, but we have about 30 seconds on the
Good.
Zoom.
Wonderful. These
Yes,
30
ma'am.
seconds gonna bring it home. Let me tell you all. I'm gonna give you all the formula. Everyone get their pen and paper. The formula is this. Whatever your gross income is, and anyone needs help to calculate that, I can help you with that. But you take your monthly gross. Now, again, this is W-2 talking, right? This conversation, we're going to do a series of this, and I'll go into the details of self-employment. But you figure out your gross income. I can help you figure it out for self-employment as well. But you figure out your gross income, and we look at two numbers. We look at the back end and the front end. The back end is 40% of your gross income. The front end is your 33% of your gross income. So let me put some numbers in so you can get a picture. Say for instance, my monthly gross income is $5,000. I take 5,000 times 40%. My back end, at 40% is $2,000. Then I take that $5,000 monthly gross times the front end, which is 33%. That gives me $1,650. Then the follow-up is, what is my debt? The 33%, which is the front end number, is supposed to be your housing ratio, meaning that's the number based on your income and debt that you should be able to afford in a mortgage payment. But what would make that number change if your debt is more than 7% of your gross income? So your debt, monthly debt, now debt is accounts that is reported to your credit report. So your monthly debt should not be more than 7% of your gross income. If it is more than 7% of your gross income, so let's look, 5,000. So with a $5,000 at 1,650, 33%, the mortgage payment based on your income and debt is 1,600 and not 1,650 because of your debt. And that was an easy one. Let's say your debt is $800 a month. $2,000 minus $800 a month. Then that means
Uh-oh, Miss Tangerine, we can't hear you.
sorry, I was muted. So that is that is the ratios that we use to determine your affordability.
All right, thank you so much. We definitely want to respect everybody's time, and thank
Yes.
you, Miss Tangerine,
Thank
for
you.
giving us that amazing information. We can't wait to have you back for this part 2, and you get into the self-employment, because I know we have a lot of entrepreneurs on the line as well, so we want to educate them in that space too.
Yes.
So again, we really appreciate everyone for being here for tonight's Wealthy Wednesday webinar, and we'll see you back next week. And again, tell a friend, tell a cousin, tell an auntie, tell your mom that we have over here at My Turn to Own great information and some very professional and talented
See you
people
soon.
speaking every Wednesday to give you this knowledge. So follow us at myturntown.org and keep up with the resources. Until next time, everyone have a great night.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for
Bye-bye.
having me. Bye bye. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Miss
Bye.
Tangerine.
You're
Bye
welcome.
bye.